Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Jinal Sampat of Sampat Jewellers. Jinal, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm super excited and pumped up.
Yeah, I'm pumped up as well, and I wanted to read a little bit more about Jinal so you can hear about all the awesome things that she's doing. And Jinal is a jewelry designer at Sampat Jewellers. Her focus is on innovation and creation of jewelry pieces that are meaningful and hold long-term value. She creates versatile designs with Indo-Western elements. Jinal holds her graduate's degree from Rhode Island School of Design. Jinal, are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
I am. Go for it.
Let's do it. So, to kick everything off, I wanted to hear a little bit more about what I call your CEO story and what led you to start your business.
Sure. It happened interestingly. Actually, I married into the family of diamond jewelers. So my father-in-law basically used to make jewelry for my family for more than 20 years when we got married. Right now it's more than 30 years. So yeah, a long time. So that's how we got introduced. And I'm actually an architect and a landscape architect. But so I practiced that. I used to practice that, but slowly, like the jewelry thing, I really was interested into it, and there was a small niche that I saw no one was working on. So we specialize in like wedding chains, just because, like, you know how in Indian culture, like there's like a lot of ornate jewelry and it's not wearable on a day-to-day basis. It's too much, like, so my goal is to have it more versatile so it's more wearable, and that's what I saw people needed around me, and I really enjoyed creating something unique that the market doesn't have. So that's why I got started in designing jewelry, and it's just on for last 5 years or something then. Yeah.
Nice. You're definitely on your way for the 30 years then, if you're doing it for 5 years. So that'll be you too. But I love that because a lot of times, there's usually some type of opportunity in the market, but you have to be able to kind of see that. And when you see that, you can definitely create something because it fulfills a need, which is always what I think everybody wants to do whenever they create something.
Yeah, for sure. Jewelry is such a saturated market in some way. Like there are tons of designers, tons of pieces, but I wanted to do something specific to our culture and something that would preserve it and celebrate it, basically.
Absolutely. And like you said, very versatile. So it's not just you have to wear it specifically on that day, but you can wear it beyond that, which is something you can use to always remember that day, even beyond that day. So I truly appreciate you for doing that. And I wanted to hear a little bit more about like some of the pieces. Could you tell us a little bit more on like what you're doing, like and exactly like even your process maybe on how you actually create that?
Yeah, sure. So our wedding chains, they are actually called Mangal Sutra in our culture, Indian culture. So I'll just call them wedding chain to keep it simple so people don't get confused.
All right.
So basically, usually what they are they're a traditional chain of black beads, like small black beads, like they could be like as ornate as you can. They are like big pendants. So basically, married women are supposed to wear them every day. It's like the engagement ring. We wear it every day. So the wedding chain is supposed to be worn as a purpose to protect the husband and the couple from evil eye. So that's the idea behind it. So what I did was, like, the black beaded chain got too overwhelming. Like, it's just too much. Like, I didn't wear it like for 5 years until I got married. So I was like, there should be some way to like make this wearable and meaningful. It's such a unique piece. So I started designing, experimenting with the chain, like keeping a fewer beads, and making a delicate chain so that girls could wear it at work, and not feel like out of place.
Right.
So that's where I started with the chain, was number one, and then the pendant started getting simpler and more modern. So I try to get elements from the traditional design, but actually try to make it a bit more delicate for daily wear. So it's not that robust. It's delicate to the eye, and it has those fine elements of our culture, like curves and flowers, but still it has sharp lines of the modern, that works for the modern generation. So that's basically the overall idea. And also there is a lot more to do. Like I experimented some with a longer chain that goes down to the belly button, like a fashion piece,
Hmm.
but it's solid gold, so you can wear it at night parties. It just like it's just perfect. And then a lot more to do with the pendants. Basically, it's not just the pendant. There's a lot of design elements. Once you open up your imagination, there's just a lot you
Wow.
can do
Yeah.
with this concept. So I'm really excited, and I think I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from the brides. I mean, they always say, "Oh, why I didn't know about you guys. I wish I knew about you earlier." So we actually have like a lot of brides that are married for like more than 5 years. So they get this piece for their first anniversary or their second
Hmm.
anniversary. Depends on what stage they are. Some women are fanatic. They collect wedding chains. So we have one engagement ring, but wedding chains can be multiple.
Right.
So
Right.
you have a whole collection of wedding chains. So I was really excited about that. So the market actually becomes bigger a little bit for us, and also more women can kind of benefit from from mistakes that they have done. Sometimes what I like to do is like also take their existing chain that they have and redesign it. So we custom design it to using their same diamonds or gold, whatever they have, for the sentimental value, and create something new. Yeah.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that, and appreciate you being able to see all that. Is it just that you started to create, I guess, certain versions of the wedding chain, and then you started to ask people, and then you got feedback and decided whether to continue to push along with it? Was that kind of like what happened?
Actually, it was really interesting. I just wrote a blog one day, like on wedding chains. Like I created some designs, and did them in Photoshop a little bit to kind of make it visual. I didn't even create those pieces. It was a test blog, and I just put it out, and I still get leads from that blog. It was like
Really?
a 3 4 year old blog. So I that's when I had the idea. I mean, there's really some interest in here. I mean, I tried something, and it's still working. So I mean, there should be more to it. So it was a coincidence that I wrote that blog for Mangal Sutras for like modern women,
Yeah.
some, something on that lines. Like I gave like 20 or 25 designs and explained each one of them in that blog, like
Nice.
how is that special, and what they can do with it. So and that's when it got started. So initially we used to make all kinds of jewelry. Like it was just a jewelers. That's why our name is like Sampat Jewellers.
Yeah.
um, if it was now, I would change it to something more specific. But we started it that way, so it's just that way. But the product is quite specific at this time.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm a big blogger, obviously, so I love anything that starts out from a blog. And I think a lot of times when people have an idea about creating something, a lot of times you're like, okay, I need funding, I need this, I need that, I need all those things. But a lot of times, sometimes just putting it out in a blog or a podcast or asking a few friends, whatever that might be, you can actually see if there's any. If your idea actually has legs and you do have something like that. So it's great to hear that's how that started, and great to hear that you're continuing on with that.
Yeah, it was exciting at that time. It was just all these positive ideas that were like flowing in my mind, and it was a hard decision to just focus on one thing. But I
Yeah.
think it's the best decision. It makes me happy and my team happy, so it's just better that way. Or else it gets diluted in the
Yeah.
all jewelers and all the jewelry companies basically.
Yeah, it starts getting to be too much. So, and would you consider that to be your secret sauce? Then is it the fact that you have been able to focus on that one thing?
I think so. I mean, I personally need, like, if I'm working on something, I need a strong concept to keep me going. If it's like a generic bracelet or generic bangle, I'm not that excited. But
Hmm.
if there's a story, like there was a lady who was celebrating her 25th anniversary, so there's a story behind it. So that keeps me exciting, like some kind of concept, and it actually is more exciting for the client too, because they can, when they're wearing it, they can see what each diamond means in that piece. So yeah, it's always meaningful to do something. I say no to people that is like not, it's just like they give me a design. Oh, can you make this? I'm like, I don't want to, even if I can make it, but I don't want to copy someone else's
Yeah.
design. This happens a lot in jewelry industry. Like they see a design somewhere else and they want the exact same. But it's something that I don't enjoy, so we don't do that at all.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. It's not quite the same, but I do a lot of like web design, and I always try to ask people like what their story is, what makes them unique, things like that, because you can show that just like you can in the piece of jewelry. You can tell the story in kind of in a
Yeah.
symbolic way, and a lot of times if you don't know that story or people don't want to tell you that story, then a lot of times you miss on what could be really a phenomenal piece. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Sounds.
And I wanted to switch gears a little bit and ask you for what I call a CEO hack. And this might be an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but it's something that makes you more effective and efficient.
So I recently started doing this 80-20% the rule, and I think I really am enjoying it. So basically, every Sunday, me and my husband, basically both of us write down like 20% of the things that will will make 80%, will move us 80% ahead. Like just
Mhm.
focus on like 3 or 4 things that week, and then smaller things that can be achieved after noon time. In the morning time, focus on the top 20% that moves you forward. I think that just keeps you very focused, because I work from home and it's just very important for me to like stay focused and learn a lot of new things, because we have an e-commerce business. It's an e-commerce thing, and there's a lot to learn with SEO and all of these, like email marketing, like chat. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to do constantly, and these people change. So you have to be focused, kind of constantly make those revisions and learn new things. So yeah, I think 80-20 rule is really helping us so far.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. And yeah, especially in the digital marketing world, there's so many things that are changing. Sometimes you have to also to figure out what is something you should pay attention to versus something that maybe you should put off to later or not even pay attention to, which often is the case as well. So it's great to hear that rule, because it's definitely important for every business owner. So now I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO, your CEO nugget, and this is a word of wisdom or piece of advice. Or if you can hop into a time machine, what would you tell your younger business self?
To my younger self,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think every time we try to do something, we always like, I mean, I used to always say, oh, I don't have a store. That's why I'm not getting customers, for example. I still say that sometimes, but like there is like more to it. Like think about like how you can do it with what resources you have, and also at the end, what experience you're giving to the customer. Basically, don't like, I didn't want myself to complain what I didn't have, versus work with the resources we have. We have internet. I mean, that's super powerful. I don't think we need anything more. Like we're already in the better side of
Yeah.
of our lives. So I mean, when you're trying to do something that you want to have a nice lifestyle, and it's not suitable to the what community and everybody's used to, there's a small thing, oh, but then I feel just do what you want, and how you want to design your lifestyle versus like how people want you and your company to be. you know
Absolutely.
yeah, a lot of people tell us you don't have store. I'm like, we don't want a store because that's a lifestyle choice that we want to make.
Yeah.
And so yeah, just like giving answers to yourself, like, oh, why this may not work you know
Yeah, no, I think that's very true, and especially in this day and age, just like you touched on, with the internet and all those things out there, there's kind of unlimited ways you can build a business, and you can build the business according to you. So you have to make sure that you're the measure of what is success and what is not success, because a lot of times if you're listening to external influences that you don't have this, you don't have that, or you should do this or you should do that, you'll
yeah,
never ever reach success, because you're always going to have to do the next thing, even if it's not in alignment with what you want.
exactly. It's other people's agenda and not yours.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So now I wanted to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on this show. So, Janelle, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Being a CEO is not actually working in the business, but it's actually working on the business. That's number one lesson. Like if I catch myself doing like smaller tasks like Photoshop or something crazy, then I'm not actually doing the right thing. So it's a different thing to have a vision, but it's a different thing to get work done. So I feel, yeah, it's working on the business and not in the business is what it means to be a CEO.
Absolutely right in line with like the E-Myth, which is a phenomenal book. It talks all about, working on the business, not in the business, because it's hard to grow when you're doing that, and because you get so busy with all these things. So I think that's an incredible definition. And Janelle, I truly appreciate your time. What I want to do is pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know. And then, of course, how they can find out about all the awesome things you're doing.
Uh, Yeah, sure. So one thing I would like to tell everyone is expect the least from your close family members and your friends when you're starting a company. Like, I think that's a mistake I made. So you think your friends would buy from you, or your family, extended family, would buy from you to kind of support you, but I think that's a really false expectation. Like, don't tell people right away, like, okay, I've done this, but show people what you have done to get the most support, because I've seen a lot of people who start their company create the Facebook page right away and get likes from their friends first thing, versus like if they actually got likes from real audience that they're trying to woo, the family will come automatically. I feel like that's like a small tip, but it's something that I wish I did. And the other thing was, even before you have a product outside, like if you're researching something, you're scribbling on some idea, start having your email list, like start having some kind of a subscriber list where they they are hoping to hear some, they know you're going to do this, or some kind of a hook to kind of collect that, because then you'll have an audience when you actually launch something, versus like if you launch and there's no audience, then there are crickets. So it's better to warm up the audience a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then launch your product meanwhile, so you have enough time, you're engaging your people. So I think that's one of the other mistakes I made, but that's a good tip for someone who's just starting out, or want to start their own company in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those are great, tips. And like you said, a lot of times the people closest to you sometimes are the last people to get on the boat, so to speak, because they don't. They sometimes are so close to you they can't see you in any other light other than what you've been, whether that be a son or a daughter or a family or a friend. That a lot of times when you do something great and then you came back and you say, "I've done all this," then they usually jump on board.
Absolutely. They have a certain vision for you, and when you don't fit into that vision, they're uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I appreciate those insights, and people that want to, find out more about you and all the awesome things you're doing. What's the best way for them to do that?
So they can definitely check out our work on our website, sampatjewellers.com, and our Instagram, Sampat Jewellers. I'm really active on that Instagram. So our process behind the scenes and everything is mostly on Instagram,
Okay.
because it's such a cool, fun platform.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the 20% things I have on my list this time to do more on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a great platform, especially for visual, content and images and
Yeah.
businesses like yourself. So we will definitely have those links in the show notes so that everybody can follow up with you. But I appreciate you so much again, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Grisham. Thank you for planning. It was really nice chatting with you, and being able to see you actually makes a huge difference.
Exactly, exactly. All right.